Welcome. So Milmi is our KOL admin. She's the one that's been taking care of us this whole time and communicating with us. So I just want to give her a shout out. She has been doing a lot of work for the content creators. So yeah. So let's stop. Let's start from like top left to right, and then middle left to right, and then bottom left to right. Okay. Start. You can introduce yourselves. Let's start with Chin.
Oh wait. I have a soundboard for that.
Oh no.
Hello everyone. My name is Chin VALDES.
There we go. All right. That's it. And then up next we have King Ben.
Hello guys, I'm KINGBENYT in here. Hello guys.
Tell us a little bit about your history. What RO games have you played before RO3?
Yeah, of course we play Ragnarok, all the brand, yeah, with Rox, Romsey, Rom, and yeah, I think another Ragnarok franchise I already played all, like BTG, Back to Glory, and something else.
Yeah, my man has experienced everything. All right, Wolf.
So hello everyone, my name is Wolf. So you might know me from the ROO, but yeah, actually, I'm really playing Ragnarok competitively, like when back in the days, like the classic RO1 thingy. So yeah, nice to meet you guys.
All right, and I mean, this next man over here really needs no introduction. If you've watched any type of competitive play in the Ragnarok universe, you probably have seen this man's face on TV, on YouTube. But just in case, go ahead and Mr. Zero, introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Zero. I've been playing any Ragnarok game since the War of Imperium patch in Classic. And yeah, have been having fun in RO3 with these guys here as well.
Yeah. And next up we have one of our newcomers actually here, Miss Faye, who has been following RO3 for a while now, including like the live stream. She actually was watching the live stream earlier. Miss Faye, would you like to introduce yourself?
Faye. I've been playing since it was my first MMORPG, so I've been crazy about RO even to this day. I even tell people in other games about RO that haven't even played it. And they should really check it out, even the old versions.
And we have next, the man himself, Mr. KEROPPI.
Hi, I'm KERO. So I'm new to the whole RO thing, guys. I only played original RO like 30 years ago, and I didn't play any of the other ROs like RO2 and all that other stuff. And so I'm jumping straight back into RO3. So the nostalgia hit me really hard.
Oh my god.
Normally the games that I cover are Blade and Soul. I covered that for 4 years, and then I moved on to PSO2 NGS.
Ooh.
So I'm not in this sphere of that you guys are all in. So thanks for having me, especially today during the Guild War thing. I literally just joined. I made an account, and you guys dragged me in on the last minute, and then that was glorious. So thanks.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun for sure. And actually, another ROO legend we have here who just woke up. He'll turn on his camera in a little bit here, but we have the man himself, King WAWA, bro.
Good day, everyone. It's me, King WAWA.
Good day, everyone. And he's currently muted, by the way, so hopefully he's not talking while muted.
Oh, I can talk on his behalf if ever.
Oh yeah,
I can introduce.
Oh yeah, okay. We know him well enough, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, Chen, can you talk for WAWA, for King WAWA? He's still coming to right now.
Okay. Good day, everyone. It's me again, King WAWA. I like to make Ragnarok guides. I make guides all the time on all things Ragnarok. I have the best top 10 guides always.
The
top
best
10 beginners.
Best ultimate guides out there.
The best ultimate guides out there. Yeah, and
follow me on YouTube, guys. It's King WAWA.
There you go. Jesus Christ. Okay, and Miss Milomi, would you like to introduce yourself as well, just so people know, and people kind of realize there's people that work in the background and really support us. So Milomi is that person. She has been.
So I really have to.
If you want to. If you don't want to, I definitely
Okay.
won't force you.
Okay. Alright, I just want to say hello guys, my name is Milomi. I'm in charge for the KOLs and content creators, KOC also from Joymakers. Yeah, so it's not only RO3 but other schemes also.
So not just RO3. So you're doing this for even wow. Okay, it's multi-talented right there. Yeah, glad you could actually join us tonight. I know it was supposed to be as a translator, but it turns out we don't need a translator, but we still want to have you here as long as you want to be here. And to kind of maybe you can give us some sneaky details.
Yeah, I'm okay. I can be here, but I might cannot answer anything because I'm not the deaf or anything. So I'm just gonna help it in case KINGBENYT or Wolf need some translate.
Gotcha. And we
Okay.
have KEROPPI now as well. Okay, KEROPPI. I like your room, brother. Like,
Yes, you like my horse?
yeah, I like your horse. All right, so let's get this one started in terms of like this is basically episode 1, State of Ragnarok 3. Again, be very, very open. After being able to speak and kind of like seeing the responses that the devs have made, again, they're very welcome and they're very open to feedback. You've probably seen some of the feedback already implemented in the game so far, especially the more actionable ones that they can. So they are implementing, they are listening, and I think before the game launches is when the best time for like devs to make these changes that we're asking for is like the most effective, essentially, right? So for episode 1, we have a few topics to tackle here, but I want to ask first, like the first impressions and the nostalgia factor of Ragnarok. But before we get deeper into that, I want to hear people's opinions first, and first look at the game, like the graphics, the UI, the controls, and the overall like art style of the game. I want to hear what people's opinions on them are. Do you think that it stays close to RO1? If there's anything that you guys would like to change, would like to see differently, speak on that as well. And I kind of wanted to go like again, same order as before. And if you disagree with somebody, wait for them to finish talking first, and then just be like, well, actually, to your point of that, I want to disagree because I think all that. I want it to be like a really healthy conversation where we can talk to each other. I know there's a lot of people who are very passionate here about RO, so again, let's start with Chin.
So I think it's been discussed like always, like in every time in all streams and in all videos, like the whole auto thing. I think that's gonna be like a really, really big factor about it being compared to RO1. It's not gonna be the same. And you did mention about there being a player-to-player trade, so that's gonna be another thing. It was like one of the main things that did ruin RO1 back then. Like with open core and all that. So yeah, so while I'm not like completely against it, like I know how passionate people can be about like Ragnarok and all that, but yeah, like for me, I do agree with that it will eventually at some point it's gonna be it's like bound to fail, like it's really doomed to fail in the long run.
So you're more towards the closed kind of like BDO-esque closed market, no player-to-player trading type of deal. Everything is an auction house type of deal, right? Okay.
I mean, like if we have to go like the auto route, right?
Oh yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna that's probably like one of the biggest worries too, is having the auto and then having the auto UI, the auto gameplay with the player-to-player trading does threaten the game economy as a whole, right? So
and also like like the target markets, like then it's the usual Ragnarok hook, right? It's the nostalgia, right? So the target market is usually 30 like us, right? Like 30 but if we're gonna go like the full manual route, we also risk like not getting new players. You get what I mean? Like like my girl, like I don't think I'll be able to get her on board if it's gonna be like full manual, right? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's another thing to like consider, Pep.
The thing that I could say about that most likely is gonna be catch-up mechanics. I think systematically, if a game has good catch-up mechanics, then yeah, you can absolutely. So KEROPPI, how about you?
Yes.
especially coming from RO1?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think the graphics and everything is perfect. Like, you know, it definitely reminded me of RO1. The music was also a big factor. I felt like the music, I mean, you know, it's an alpha, right? So it was kind of limited. I kind of heard the same BGMs over and over. The dungeon music was really good. I really liked the dungeon fights, like the mechanics and everything. But, you know, just to follow up with the whole auto system, I'm 36, right? So my APM is very low now. I'm getting old, okay? So having the auto system actually helped me a lot because I played manually at the beginning, and then I was wondering why everyone was doing so much damage. And then people in chat were telling me, yo, they're using auto. I was like, wait, what? So I turn on auto and then I play the healer and then boom, suddenly I have like 6-7 million healing. I'm like, wait, what's going on? So yeah, the auto system is nice in my point of view because I just can't keep up with the kids, you know. I try, I play manually, and I'm like bottom fragging, you know. I'm absolutely at the bottom doing nothing. So that does help people like me. But just the overall feel was really nice. I really enjoyed my time in RO3 so far. Just, you know, the nostalgia and then just exploring the different places. I went to all the different towns and then the dungeon system and the what was it? The challenge system, I think, like the angel pouring and then all of that stuff. That was really nostalgic
MVP.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a follow-up question to you would be, in terms of auto, do you think auto being in the game is healthy for the game, or do you think that something that WoW does right now, recently, having like the macro, so that you're not scrambling to have all your skills out in a dungeon? Do you think that would be a healthier alternative, or do you think that it's just full auto?
I mean, it depends on what their target market is. I mean, if we're targeting like people like myself, right? Like 30-plus-year-old people who work full time and don't really have that much time to play the game, then yeah, sure, auto's fine. But I would understand that a lot of like the hardcore or like the original RO players, we all reminisce back like 30 years ago when we grinded like 16 hours a day and then we finally got that one card or we leveled up. So, you know, I still think of the old days where we were grinding for that 1% EXP and all of that stuff. But I can't do that now, right? Yeah. It's not feasible right now. So auto definitely is important, but I do agree with a lot of you guys on like there needs to be a balance, right? I feel like BDO had implemented like, you know, there's like the AFK fishing and then there's like the farming and cooking and all that other stuff. So there's sort of a balance there in BDO. I haven't played BDO in like 5 years, but when I did play,
I know what you mean.
It was a source of money, right?
It's better now, actually. So I agree with you on there too. Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the auto, I think it is necessary for myself, but I can definitely see a lot of people disagreeing and being like, Kero, garbage take, you know, we should all play manually. Why are you playing video games if you're not playing it? So I understand. Okay, guys, don't kill me. But just for me personally, as I said earlier, you know, I don't have the APM. I don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time. And auto will actually play better than me manually playing. And so I personally like having a little bit of auto.
Yeah. By the way, guys, if you guys want to interject to counter Envious points or like discuss, feel free to speak up as well, right? It doesn't have to be your turn exactly. Just as long as he's finished talking or he's in a pause, feel free to interject at any time. Okay. But yeah, King Ben.
So Carol, what you're saying is people our age are old.
We're washed.
Easy.
Of course.
Because we're the same age.
No.
You play from RO1, right? Yes, so we are old, man. Okay, so for me,
I played back in 2002 or 3. I think.
2000, yeah, 2002. I think we're back 2002, like 20 years ago, right? Okay, but for me, the RO3, the graphics, honestly, I like the graphics and the gameplay, especially for the mechanics, yeah, the new mechanics of the boss of the dungeon. But I didn't like the MVP mechanism
Mm.
because I don't know, yeah, the RO3 will stay like that on the MVP or not. But on the MVP, yeah, you just walk like very long to going into the MVP, right? I think you guys feel it.
Yeah.
With the auto too, with the go function, it still take a long time to be in the pouring land or on the orc village, right? So yeah, for me, honestly, the graphics and the mechanics of the boss is good. It's something new that we didn't have in the another Ragnarok franchise, right? Like Rocks or like Rom or RO, something like that. Yeah, that's for me. I think little fatty.
Yeah. All right. Yep. Anybody wanna say anything to that or?
I want to add something.
Oh, there he
Yeah.
is.
Well, King Wawa is awake.
Yeah, because not everyone started from classic Ragnarok.
Mm.
For example, I started from Eternal Love, then Rocks, then ROO. So there's a lot of players like me who haven't played manually in Ragnarok. Yeah, so if you remove auto, it's gonna make or break if we're gonna play the game. Yeah,
So
that's it.
my question to that would be, do you think it would make or break the game, or would it just cater to a different audience?
Yeah, it would just cater the to the classic players.
Yeah.
But just keep in mind that there's a lot of players who started after classic.
Yeah. I totally agree with like both sides of the fence. Like I'm an old player and I've played the mobile game too, the mobile games. I think there could be a equal middle with that. You know, in classic, you know, I used to be a creator and I used to use my little blob and he would kill things for me while I was AFK in some
Yeah.
servers. And maybe they could entwine with that, like with animals that could like auto loot for you like that, but not just with creators, with like all classes. You know what I mean?
think you're talking about the mercenary.
The mercenary
Like
system
in classic
or
Arrow, yeah, mercenary system exactly.
Yeah.
They had a mercenary system
Yeah.
for classic, where
and Van
it helps you farm, it helps you loot, things like that.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, everybody, like I think it was Crusaders would get, you know, what was it? Well, the newer stuff's like wolves and stuff like that. But if they like incorporated that so they could like auto loot, I think that would be cool too. And it
Um,
would, I don't know, maybe not. I don't know. It's just an idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's just the worry of auto is always going to be like the game economy. Because if your game
Yeah.
economy is cooked, then your player base as a whole suffers, right? That's usually like the underlying, or rather the undercurrents of having auto in your game, especially in a game with player-to-player trading, right? And that's what we saw in like previous RO, where like bots would ruin the economy, and legalizing that doesn't exactly solve the problem; it exacerbates it.
But, well, if they did it and made it like to a point, I don't know, like not like infinite, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, taking a leaf out of ROO's book, right? You have limited time to farm experience and items a day. Could not really fully solve it because it kind of limits progression as well.
Yeah.
But you know, some form of middle ground
Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah, I think the danger in that is that even if it is limited, technically,
my
yeah.
bad. I was
Yeah.
trying to talk like homunculus AI. But...
Yeah. So wait, so the danger of that is like, let's say for example, we have like accounts that are limited, right? Let's say like you even limit it to like 30 minutes a day only. what's stopping somebody from making 100 accounts and having them all farm 30 minutes each a day, and with player-to-player trading, trades it over to the one main guy, one main character, and then having a monopoly on something.
It's
Maybe
funny that you bring that up because the game that I cover, PSO2, literally had that problem in the base version. And so when they made the new version, or PSO2 New Genesis, they literally deleted that entire like catch-up thing, where it's like, oh, you don't get all your daily rewards per character. It's just a daily boost per account. And the economy didn't really get better. It's kind of still pretty crap.
Yeah.
So
it's like once the damage is
Like-
once the damage is done and there's like too much supply there, like it's very hard to. I mean, New World suffered with that as well, right? And they never recovered really. Oh, and then when we have after
maybe
Wolf,
limited to like XP only though.
I think
I don't know. Or certain items.
XP would
for, like,
be
certain-
nice. The only drawback would be you'd pollute the open world with people that are not actually people. I think BDO, KEROPPI made a good point, right? BDO does it really well, where you have progression that, like, even though it's only like, you know, like an hour's worth of progression in terms of like currency in like AFK fishing, for example, or let's say like you even have like buffs in the game. Let's say like somebody can invest time into like life skilling, right? They can sell like a elixir or a food buff or something, and that's like your main form of like currency, because that's less APM, right? You don't have to grind as much. And people will always want buffs and elixirs in PvP, in PvE, right? It's almost required, really.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a healthier option, so that the real world, the game world is not polluted with essentially people who are not even there. So the social aspect still exists. It's just that, you know, you minimize the pollution essentially in the open world. And I know we kind of went on a tangent on that one. I want to hear Wolf's thoughts on this as well, actually.
Yeah, I think definitely we need auto as well, because like, you know, coming from the old people myself, well, I'm not that 36 old, but yeah, very close to it.
Whoa.
So yeah, sorry about it. Just like try to break the ice. Yeah, I think auto itself is like something that I really like don't like in the mobile games also, in the many iterations of Ragnarok so far. Yeah, because I completely agree with what Fatty just said on his stream earlier, because people are not really like rejoicing the grinding process or the leveling process anymore, because like everyone just like autoing and that's it. You just get the maximum level out of it in, you know, like in the 7 days or so, compared to the classic where you have to like grind yourself like in a month. Like, you know, sometimes that there are even players who play for the doesn't even like reach the maximum level out of it. So there's like a couple of interesting point on there actually, because if you like really have the process to leveling up, you know, there's like a lot of things that like coming from the low level itself, it's really useful. So the economic itself is like really like grow up, starting from the drops on the lower level kind of fields. You know, it's just like, you know, if you see like the mobile games right now, the things that are really like valuable is just like something that maximum level kind of stuff, right? So we just like forget about the things that on the lower level also. That's what I don't really like on the mobile games as well like now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're like just like we need some kind of like balance out of it. I don't really like where we definitely need auto. Yeah, I myself also use the auto feature as well on the latest mobile games, but I think we can combine it with some kind of you know, like a more complex mechanic out of it. So people that use auto things will always get less rewarding compared to the player that just like do it manually also, especially in the battle kind of systems. You know, you just don't have to like go forward with your maximum character and just like auto everybody else and you win the game. It doesn't feel like fun for me. We definitely need some kind of like a mixture of complexity here to actually allow where the, you know, the game itself is like there's like a lot of piloting skills that matters into the
Yeah,
competitive scene
introducing
also.
a skill gap, right? To
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What I can say to that is that, like, in terms of like getting even, almost. So what is stopping from, if the concern is that, right? Then what merit would it be into making RO3 a vertical progression game versus just going the horizontal progression route like Guild Wars 2, if we're not okay with people having disparity based on time spent in like grinding per se? Right, that's always like a question that pops in my head when people prefer, like, especially like I remember Edgar, one of the devs, said like, well, how do we keep the minimal gap in the players involved? And I think it just doesn't exist in a vertical progression game. Somebody will always be ahead. Somebody's always gonna, because it's vertical progression for a reason. You can try to minimize that as much as you can, but like there's always gonna be that slight bit of advantage as much as you minimize it, versus somebody who plays the game a lot and who doesn't play in the game a lot. Unless you shift over from a vertical progression game to a horizontal progression game where everybody's on the same level at any given time, and you give players something else to play for, something else to run like dungeons for or PvP for besides that aspect. And also to touch upon like the journey part of it. Like me, I said this before in stream, it took me, when I played RO for the first time, it took me 6 months before I got to level 99. Not because it took that long. Technically, I could grind and probably get to 99 in like a span of like a month or 2 months, right, at the time. But to me, it was the journey of it. There were people that sped to level 99 at the time, but there also needs to be an economy for people that aren't like max level, because that's part of the journey that they do. So in RO1, you could technically grind at Bialan, right, and an undersea tunnel. You could grind there as a low level, take your time, right? And for the most part, like if you're done grinding for the day, you could go hang out with your friends, your guild. Everybody would be having fun hanging out like that. But even when you're grinding in those low level spots, even down to like the water to the empty bottles, there's an economy for that. If you get lucky in those low level zones, like you're killing hydras, you get a hydra card, boom, all of a sudden like you're low level, but you just got a big ticket item that you can sell for a good amount, and there's your progression that helps boost your progression. But you can't do that if you're only farming the high level zones, for example, if that's like the progression that you're chasing. So there's a lot of merit to everybody technically going at their own pace in a vertical progression game, mind you. I think there's a lot of merit into doing that. Whereas like if you are so focused on, oh, everybody should just be even because not everybody has the time to do this and do that, grind like 5-6 hours a day, 16 hours a day, or what have you, regardless of like what people's thresholds are for grinding, right? Then why not just make the game a horizontal progression game? If that is like such a big concern, what's stopping us from going that route instead?
So yeah, what I was really saying is like, the way that we level up right now in the recent mobile games is actually just like find a party where you just want to, like hunt in the same field together with your party, and everyone just like takes their own spots, and you just set up your auto and just AFK for like until your stamina runs out. So yeah, I don't think that's like a very good. Okay, so am I audible now?
There you go.
Oh, you're good
Okay.
now.
Yes,
You're good now.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think my connection sucks. Okay, so what I was really saying is just like I don't really like the experience where people just like like partying together, but they just like independently at their own spots to level up and just AFK with their auto setups, try to like spend all of their staminas daily and just keep repeating again tomorrow and the next after and so on. Like that's not really like a good experience for me from my perspective. So yeah, I'm not sure about you guys.
Yeah. And I think Zero, you were next in line.
Yeah. It's I mean I'm the last, so I kind of heard everyone's arguments and thoughts and whatnot. It's a tough balance, right, that we have to find between the old nostalgic classic players versus the more younger generation. I personally, coming from classic, I think there needs to be some form of a gap, like you said. I think I agree with Wolf. There needs to be some way to have a skill gap, not just whoever plays more or whoever spends more, because that's always the difference, right? Like in RO, right? It's either whether if you spend more to bypass the farming, the leveling, whatnot, or if you do it with time. But then there's the other factor is that even if for someone who spends a lot of time or just spends money, they're still gonna get skill gapped. Even in classic, there's no way for you to 1v5 just because it's impossible in a game. The mechanics, the systems don't allow you for that, right? And a lot of it comes down to the skill gap. I mean, autoing in the repetitive stuff, the dailies, the farming, I think that's fine. Even if you don't put it in the system, someone's gonna find a way to do it. Macros are everywhere. Those who come from classic, open core, your RPs, WPs, whatnot, people are gonna find a way, right? So I would rather have it built into the game itself with some form of limitation, because if you don't have a form of limitation, like you said, economy is gonna go whack. If you don't implement the auto system, then someone finds a way to do it, and then you open a whole new can of worms. Where is this guy really playing 24 hours? We can't prove it. You can try, but it's too hard.
It would be impossible.
But but in terms of like, for example, in PvP, I don't think auto should be there. Like, you are just promoting lazy players or player who doesn't understand their class's core mechanics or how they work or how they counter each other. Disable auto in PvP. Have it in the repetitive stuff, but when it's like in a map or in a environment where you have to play against another player, then that's where the skill gap has to come.
Yeah. And speaking of like the daily stuff too, like we're not gonna discuss that one today. That's gonna be a topic for another episode. That we're gonna have, because if we dive down that route, we're gonna be spending like more than an hour on it, right? Because that's a whole nother topic, right? But that's good to mental note for like next time as well. And then up next we have Mrs. Faye. What's your thoughts so far on like the over like first impressions, the nostalgia factor of it? Anybody's
play. I've
points?
got to watch you guys play it.
So
But to
when-
be honest, I just feel like they're missing quests. I don't know. I like quests. Like a lot of games that I play have a lot of quests in them, and I love that in the original RO is the quests, like the hidden
So-
quests, even like on the spin-off servers on the sides.
So to preface
I loved working for in the original one, working for to be in your job class. That was really cool. Like you had to
So,
work really hard to do that.
really quick. So to preface it real quick, the pioneer testing, it's basically closer to alpha than it is a beta, right? It's just that's why it's called the pioneer testing. They do, in their defense, they want us to test the MVPing, the limited MVPing that we got, the dungeons, and they also wanted us to test the GVG, which is the Guild League 40v40. So that's why like you're not gonna see a fleshed out leveling experience yet or a questing experience quite yet. But those are basically what we're limited to in the pioneer test at the moment.
Yeah, but I think it looks really good. It looks really promising what I've seen. I love the boss fights and watching you guys work together to kill it. It's awesome. I think they did a great job with it. I mean, I haven't seen much of it. I just started watching it, like, I don't know, my husband's the one who, like, really is been watching it longer than I have. But I love it. I love it. I don't know.
I think it stays true, especially graphically.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the BGMs.
It really does have, like, the old feel to it, too, but with, like, a crisp look to it. It's just, I like it.
I want to cut in a bit over here with optimization. I know we talked a lot about the auto system, but I just want to give praise to the optimization of the game. Because I remember when I played RO1 and we did War of Imperium, like I would get like 10 FPS if there's more than 10 people on the screen.
Yeah.
With like Lord of Vermilion, Blizzard, and all that junk going on. I was just like, bro, it's a freaking PowerPoint slideshow on my screen. And then we go into that PvP thing where it was like 40 versus 40 or something, and everything was flawless. There was no lag. I could cast all of my spells and abilities in time. And I was just like, wow, that really impressed me because
Yeah.
I was worried. I was like, 40 versus 40, this is gonna be, it's either gonna lag like internet lag or it's just gonna be like FPS lag. But I didn't experience any of that. So I was like, okay, you know, we've got something good here. So that, you know, I was very surprised by the optimization.
Yeah.
But I want to ask, were you guys okay as well on optimization? Because my rig is, you know, a little bit overkill.
Yeah.
So how was it on your PC?
It was for me, it was pretty good. I no FPS lag whatsoever. There's like the whole like NA ping thing as well, but I didn't really suffer. You know, I didn't really quite notice it as well. It was really good at kind of really optimizing it on that end. But again, the real test is probably gonna be Milmi. If you can tell us, do we know when we're gonna test War of Imperium? If no, this is to say I can't say
That
right now.
question I cannot disclose for now. Yeah.
For now? Okay, good. All right, sorry.
But maybe, yeah. But not on this piano test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, so something to, you know, possibly in the future, potentially. We don't know yet, but that one I believe is going to be the real test of optimization because it's going to be, what is it, 1,500 versus 1,500, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Jeez, that many people?
It's a big map.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
Wow.
I saw a preview of the map. It's pretty big. And speaking of, since we're talking about nostalgia, that right there, War of Imperium is going to be the big nostalgia thing, and fun GVG. King Wawa, what about you? Like, what's your main takeaway from the game from what you've seen so far?
I haven't tried Pioneer Test, but I always watch your stream
Super
and I watch your GVG, and it looked amazing. But I agree with Zero's take that auto must be removed from PvP because that's like the main point. You grind the whole week for PvP and then you just auto.
Yeah. For what? Right.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
what?
To touch on that as well, right? It's today I had like most kills, most DPS done as auto. I've never actually played this game. I've never played auto, not even once in this whole Pioneer test. I do, in terms of PvE, I do see a huge gap in like if somebody does auto. I think the first day, especially like this, like for rangers, right? Because like rangers are like really fast, like fast paced, like high, you know, very spammy, with aimbot and everything. I got gapped like pretty easily, right, in terms of that. But when it came to finding opportunities for like clumps, for example, in GVGs, and taking advantage of these opportunities, that's when like my stats started like skyrocketing, because then the skill factor really was there. Whereas like if I was on auto, I wouldn't even be able to really choose who my target is, because like the auto would just like automatically point me to the nearest target or whatever my settings were. And I do think that, yeah, the skill expression is 100% there. A lot of the times in these GVGs, when you look at the metrics, you can almost tell if somebody's on auto.
I'm gonna be honest. Was there auto in GVG?
You could, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't know that. I thought auto was only available on the outside, like the overworld, and then in the dungeons. I only thought it was just those two areas. Wait, so auto's available everywhere right now? Is that the case?
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
So we covered the kind of like the nostalgia factor with the graphics, the UI, the controls, with the auto system and all that. So the next bullet point that we have here, because we still have like an hour. That's good. So the second bullet point here, does it feel like Ragnarok, or does it feel like it's just another MMO? And I'll kick this one off again. So to me, it's kind of half and half a little bit. I do see the classic side of the game where it's closer to RO1, which is like a delight to see. I love it. I love to see it. I love experiencing it. But then I can see a bit of the direction veering towards like kind of the theme parky side a little bit, where it's like, you know, it's you're being handheld, like, hey, by the way, you need to go over here. Dailies are gonna a part of that, but we'll discuss that next time. But like, again, the theme parkiness of it all, and really that's my only worry, is that if it starts to feel too theme parky in game feel versus like the RO1 sandbox type, where you're just like, hey, there you go, into the world you go, do whatever you want, bro. Like, you could stay not a novice your whole journey to 99. Who I really don't care. Just go do what you want, right? Whereas like, it worries me because we, obviously we remember RO2, right? We remember RO2, and we're fully aware of what happened with RO2. RO2 went the theme park route. You don't really want to tackle WoW, Final Fantasy 14, all these like very PvE centric theme parky MMOs, because they've kind of like perfected it in their own way already. Whereas like, I feel like in terms of game feel, we need to look back on what made RO1 successful, what made RO1 feel immersive, what made RO1 feel as good of or be as good of a game as it was, to the point that it still has an impact to this day, is the freedom. Like, I feel like at heart, RO1 is a sandbox game. Like, that's my opinion on it, at least. In terms of like, again, let me just repeat the question again here. Does it feel like Ragnarok or just another MMO? Ragnarok being Ragnarok 1. Chin?
I think in one of your streams, I think you already mentioned this too, but you know how it has similarities with RO, right?
Mhm.
And RO was, or it could have been a really good game. It's just that like. So I think rather than comparing to RO1, I'd probably call it more like RO2. I do see people like calling it that as well. It's just that like with the whole direction that RO took. And you know that rant I gave you, right, about the feathers.
Oh yeah, because of my feathers.
It was all right to be free to play until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
So maybe if RO3 could avoid those mistakes that RO did, then it could continue on to be that great game that we expected RO to be, like back then.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, to touch on that as well, again, it's people meme about it. It's just RO2. I do feel like RO2 actually had some really good game mechanics. The only problem with it was like a lot of the game mechanics, a lot of the progression, the vertical progression, was gated by spending, which is one of the biggest issues, one of the biggest killers of like a person's experience in a game, is if you, again, for the most part, I play free to play. I don't care if there is pay to win. Honestly, personally, I don't care if there's pay to progress, pay to win in the game, as long as my progression is not gated. If I can catch up through pure grinding, I'm okay with it, right? As long as it's not too egregious either. Do you have anything else to add to that, Chin? Or we move on to KEROPPI?
I think that's it for me.
Yeah. Mr. KEROPPI?
I forgot the question.
That's fine.
No,
does it feel like Ragnarok 1, or does it feel just like does it feel like another MMO?
I mean, this is the first time I came back to RO in like 20 years or 30 years or whatever, right? So it was definitely a blast from the past for me today, because I was just like, oh my god, the music, oh my god, Frontera, oh my god, this and that. So for me, everything's like, I'm seeing everything with tinted glasses right now. I'm like, yeah, this is RO, it's the greatest thing ever. But I don't know, like, I'm still in cloud 9. If you give me like a month to play this game, then I could be able to temper everything and like come back to earth. because I don't know what happened with RO2. I played RO1. I didn't play any of the ROs. I played Tree of Savior. When that came out, I played that. But I don't know the disaster or the bad news or whatever happened between ROO, RO2, ROX, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys went through.
War. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming because you guys keep talking about this auto system, I'm assuming this plays a big part of this like conflict, right? Because when I went to Tree of Savior, I was like, oh, it's sort of like RO, but they never had an auto system there. And so I was just like, oh, it's just like RO. So I played it for like 4,000 hours. And then I stopped playing because my internet was too garbage to play. And I was just like, oh, well, too bad. But yes, coming back to your question, this definitely felt like RO to me, but with like layers of mobile game stuff that I'm used to. Like I play Honkai Star Rail. I'm sure some of you guys have played that as well. And I'm the worst Honkai Star Rail player ever. I click auto on everything. I'm just like, oh, boss battle auto, and it forces me to play manual. I'm like, oh crap, what do my characters do again? And then I have to like read the skills and like try to figure out how to beat the boss. I'm literally that guy, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, when I came back to RO3, I was like, oh look, there's an auto system. Click. I was like, oh wow, it does everything for me. That's nice. But you know, I when I think back in RO1 and Tree of Savior, yeah, I played everything manually, and I was like, I had to sit there, and then my brother would just be like, "You're an idiot. Read the freaking skills. Now, what does this do? You know, plan it out. Now, this is your combo. You do all these skills so that this one does more damage." And like, I'll just sit there like an idiot and just brute force it until I eventually understand it, and I'm like, okay, now I know how to play, right? But I don't know if the average player, well, I mean, the average player is willing to sit through that anymore, because, you know, if it wasn't RO, I like just a regular MMO, I'd be like, no, too complicated. I don't care. Move on to the next game, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I would see it. But this does feel RO to me. Quotation with rose tinted glasses.
Yeah. King Ben?
Yeah, for me, I think the one of the all feature that they introduced to us on the RO3, right?
Yeah.
I think that can bring back the old player. I think from our era. I think is for the RMT system, yeah, because they put the original fending, yeah. I think fending, and they say is like 90% of the item can be fending and can be traded between the players, right? So I think that's one good point that can make the difference between the another MMORPG games, because another games in another RO franchise, they mostly use the exchange center or marketplace or something else, and they put it on the like we put on the bidding the item or something else that only can be reached by the spender, not for the F2P. F2P just can, yeah, you know, maybe try his luck on the hitting the MVP or something else. On this RO3, I think, yeah, maybe the F2P can be what we say can be have another luck too, yeah, in here, like the RO1. Like before, like we grinding on the Hydra, like you said, right? And we sell the Hydra card for the some good price, right? On the Hydra, on the something else, on the monster. I think that's the key point of this RO3 can be different with the another MMORPG. I think, Little Fatty.
Yeah. All right.
And about the auto, I totally agree with the KEROPPI. We don't have time to grinding it manually, so we need that. Function on the RO3.
Yeah. So my
that's it.
Yeah. My question to that, my follow-up question to that, and this is like an open question to everybody, right? Is that if we are to go the mobile route with auto versus like the non-auto with like RO1, are we truly making RO as it was meant to be with RO1, which is what this game is being advertised as right now? Or are we just gonna be okay with making this one into just another mobile RO that somewhat has closer graphics to RO1? Of which, like, I'm pretty sure like everybody knows already, there's probably 70 something of those RO mobile versions out there anyway. So if it's like in that regard, what's stopping us from just playing those games instead versus
You make a big point. That's a huge point. I feel like it should lean towards, old. But I mean, that's just my personal opinion, honestly.
yeah. No, like, yeah, everybody, if you have an opinion, I want everybody to actually speak up and, like, speak it, because, like, otherwise,
I really like the
yeah,
old version. I still play it to this
Yeah.
day.
yeah, there you go.
That's how much I love it,
Yeah.
It's my winter. I tell everybody, it's my winter game. I always play that in winter.
Yeah.
I get all cozy around, like, the holidays, and I start playing RO again.
With the Christmas music and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
So we have
I don't
next.
know.
Yeah, I think, but
I just,
yeah,
Go ahead.
but for me, I think if we back to grind the manually, I don't think I will play it, because our routine is very much here right now, in our 30s, right?
Mhm.
So I think I still want to play it if it have the auto system for grinding or for something else, but maybe you can limit the auto in every day to, so there is I don't know, this is the pro and cons too for the limiting of the auto kill monster, something like that, Fatty.
So,
Maybe any.
so do you think that a better system would be something, again, like KEROPPI mentioned earlier, right? Like the life skills, like the auto, if you want to have auto fishing, so at least, like, like when people are by the shore and auto fishing, that they're not actually there, and you can sell, like I said, you can sell the fish for, like, currency, right? Like whether it be zenny, whether it be diamonds or whatever. But the crucial part is, like, even though there is money there, it's important thing being taxed. At the very least, it rewards the people that are out there grinding, because now there's actual demand for the things that they're grinding. So there's an actual economy. The people that want to be able to grind that, or the people that, let's say, like, people who want to manually, like, life skill, even like gathering, for example, or farming, or what have you, right? They now have an option to have their goods be sold in the market and have them be of value, versus, let's say, if there's auto grinding there, number one, you pollute the open world with people that are not actually people. They're not actually there. And number two, then there is a huge supply of items, and it's gonna be very hard for you. Let's say, like, you're not like myself, for example. Like, I'm not a big spender. Like, I'm not gonna spend money, like, too much money on anything. Like, I spend, like, as a hobby, right? Definitely not a whale. But
Yeah.
what's gonna be, like, for me, if I'm farming something, let's say, oh yeah, there's this crafting item now, let's say, like hornets, you're trying to go for EDP bottles, for example, right? Like, it's not in the game right now, but let's just as an example, hornet, like, the stinger, it's an ingredient, people want it right now, it's in demand, people have money, but they don't have the they don't want to farm for it, but they're getting income with their life skilling, their AFK fishing, for example. And now me, as somebody who's actually grinding, I'm getting rewarded for my effort now. But it doesn't put everybody else behind, because you're still getting progression, just not as much as somebody who, like me, who's, let's say, like, I'm grinding like 5, 6, 10 hours a day. So I'm being rewarded for that, because in essence, that is what vertical progression is about. And if we take that away, then there's no point in vertical progression anymore. It's just horizontal progression now.
I mean, building onto that, from what I'm understanding here is, why don't people just remove auto from certain aspects of the game? Like, for example, what you just said about, like, the fishing and stuff in BDO. There's no auto grinding in BDO.
Mhm.
You can't just go to Blood Wolves and click a button and it just kills everything.
Mhm.
No, the auto only works in specific scenarios. Couldn't the same concept be implemented in RO? But I don't know how it would work
Yeah,
in RO,
yeah.
but
That's
something
yeah.
similar.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
exactly what I'm saying. So that way yes, there is some Zenny income, right? For the people that are doing these AFK activities. Obviously not as much as like grinding is gonna be, because grinding also has to be rewarded, right? In a vertical progression system. But it just strikes a balance where, yeah, sure, even if you don't have as much time to play, you're still getting that progression, right? Let's say you're getting the equivalent, if you're AFK fishing for like 16 hours a day, you're getting the equivalent of like the progression of somebody who grinded for 2 hours a day, for example, right? So you're still getting that income. You're not really falling behind. It's gonna take you a little bit longer to get into like the hard cap, but in a healthy game, people who are in the soft cap like area of gearing should be able to kill somebody who's in the hard cap zone of the game anyway, right? Kind of like you said in BDO, like somebody who's in soft cap can, with as long as they're better than the other person, can actually eliminate somebody who's hard capped and fully geared, right? So I feel like that's a much healthier ecosystem in terms of like balancing, and it also makes it so people, let's say like, oh, in order to get the hard cap, you need to grind for 6 months, right? Now people are gonna be like, well, but you don't need hard cap. Grinding the soft cap only takes you like a month of grinding, 2 months of grinding, right? Or like even like AFK fishing or what have you, right? And as you keep playing the game, obviously the more and more you're progressing, the closer and closer that gap between like the hard cap and soft cap is, and then obviously that's gonna widen a little bit more once there's like a new expansion, because that's just how vertical progression games work. And wouldn't that be a healthier alternative compared to fully committing economical suicide, essentially, if everybody has auto and every single material is being technically farmed automatically on a 24/7 basis, so there's too much demand of it versus supply.
I don't know if you guys ever heard of the game Quinfall. They have an auto fishing thing for their things in it, and it works really well. I mean, there's other aspects of that game that doesn't work, and it breaks the economy
Mhm.
because of those aspects. But they have an auto fishing feature on there,
Mhm.
and it's not bad.
Yeah. I think it's
I mean,
a happy medium versus
Yeah,
the alternative, right? Because
yeah.
technically, name a single MMORPG with vertical progression that has auto grinding, whose economy isn't completely screwed.
Yeah, you're 100% right with that.
I don't
But
think
there's
I personally cannot name one.
like I play also I play a lot of games.
Yeah.
Watchers. Have you guys played Watchers? Any of you?
Not
That
yet.
has
no.
auto. That has an auto thing. I play that a lot. But it's not too bad because you can. It's like it's one of those gotcha games.
Mhm.
You can pay to win, but it has like, because of the pay to win, the auto thing balances it to a perfect medium,
The-
especially when people are paying to win versus people who are grinding to win. I mean, like,
The
to get what they
problem-
want.
The problem with that is like, put it in this way, right? If there's an auto in the game, and there's pay to win in the game, and you put auto and pay to win, it doesn't really help the free to play player per se, because technically, let's say like I'm at 100 combat power, I'm grinding porings. Somebody who whales now is at 100,000 combat power, he's grinding Raydrix. Now he's auto grinding Raydrix, I'm auto grinding porings. The gap just widens. You know what I mean?
And then also, pay to win always kills games I've seen because the guys get everything real fast because they're paying and they got the money for it, and then they stop playing.
I personally don't
That
think
kills
that
it too.
pay to win is like the worst thing. And this is
It's
coming
not
from
the
me as
worst
like
thing.
as a free to play player, right? The
Yeah.
the as a free to play player, I personally don't even really mind if there's like pay to progress or pay to win in a game. BDO being a prime example. As long as I
you
am
can
not
get the
gated.
same thing.
Exactly. As long as there's nothing gating me from progressing. As long as like somebody can spend $10,000 in the game, but as long as I grind 1,000 hours or more, I can catch up to him, right? Like manual hours, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's that happy medium where you're having somebody who can spend on their hobbies versus somebody who's actually can just like drop that amount of money because again they work so much or something like that. And that's like a happy medium for somebody who doesn't have a lot of time versus somebody who does have the time to grind versus the company who's also looking to make revenue as well, right? So it makes all three parties have an option to have a happy medium. Wolf, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I just want to point out like what Zero just said earlier, to have like a more skill gap. And to your question is like when do you want to compare it? Like is it closer to RO1 or just like
Any
ROO?
other?
Yeah, I think from the perspective like of the art direction from the BGM or how they do the 3D animations and all, I think it's really the closest one to the RO classic right now. To like very very much so, I must say, compared to the other mobile games. But the thing that I really want to experience again from Ragnarok Classic is actually like the variety of the builds and the variety of the items that actually really matters. Yeah, like you mentioned about like some kind of like the low level economy where you just like want to grind out in some kind of fields, right? Bialan or something.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned about Raidrick, right? I also just remember about like Raidrick actually like drops the padded armor, right? And other kind of armors as well as it drops. And sometimes in Aero Classic, the one that the most expensive one and the most giving you the most defense of the armor, sometimes it doesn't really the most the best armor that you can bring to a fight. Because in Aero Classic, actually like swapping equipment, it really meta and really matters in back in the days. Not just I don't really experience like a mobile version of Ragnarok where swapping equipment really matters in those mobile games, especially in ROO. It just doesn't really compare to the classic experience where you can bring like maybe the most expensive armor that you can buy right now is like, let's say, a full plate, right? That's the most expensive one that you can buy right now. But actually for some people it's not really feasible for them because they just want to bring out like the maybe like 4 kind of armors that is being slotted into each cards so they can swap their equipments in the middle of the fight. So yeah, we did that like a lot of as like a competitive player back in the days for Ragnarok Classic, and it's just like gone in the recent mobile games because they just want to put the most expensive armor. Yeah, just one set and that's all. And the other set, it doesn't really matter at all. It doesn't even come close, I think, in the recent mobile games. That's what really kills what I experienced in the Ragnarok Classic, because everything else in the non-optimal choice is actually like can be the best for you if you like regarding the economy, the resource that you have. Maybe you can't really afford to buy 4 of full plate slots, right? So you just maybe you can settle with the the lesser one, like adventure clothes maybe, or things like, maybe not this level, but the padded armor or something. It really matters like a lot of changing a lot of equipment. You can bring like I remember I can bring like 4 kind of dagger as my stalker to actually like being optimal in a War of Imperium. And so
even your armor, right? Like you can use glittering coat, you can use Lord's clothes, you can use elite engineer from Battleground, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Someone sometimes even like player also like to a certain degree like bringing like a hiding clip with a smoky card where it's stapled in a double VOE, things like that. That's things that I really miss, and I don't think I experienced it like a lot in the mobile version of Ragnarok recently. That's what I'm really hoping for. Another complexity that like enabling the skill, high level skill player to actually matters in the game, not only like just wailing around and just putting their cash into the game and just win the game. Yeah, I just want to point that out.
All right. Yeah. But definitely like again that's also like to Zero's point before, like with the skill swap. Like this is something that a lot of people definitely commented on. Where's my /BM? Where's my slash battle mode? You know what I mean? Why
True,
do I only have
right?
6?
We,
Yeah.
we did that kind of battle mode, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it's funny that you mentioned about battle mode because we don't even have like enough skill to press right on right now. We only have like 6 skills, right, in the pioneer test or
6.
something.
Yep.
No, Warlock
Yeah,
has like
and
Warlock has a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
without
but-
like more keys, we are actually quite limited to certain certain builds only. Even RG, just tank RG, you can't go damage and like full tank at the same time. Just even though your skill points have enough, just because you can't drag them to the skill bar, means that you're either forced to be a shitty hybrid or like a semi DPS tank or like a full tank. So like you can't really do everything together.
Yeah, that's the thing that I kind of miss.
Yeah.
Because the old RO also allows you to be non-optimal, like to play as a non-meta kind of class or non-meta kind of builds, and really still matters in the fight, right? Right now, I think you are just forced to play a certain kind of class that just being buffed right now, like in this season or so, and you just been kind of forced to play on it. That's the thing that I just want to point out. Just stay away from that kind of route, I think. RO has that problem, I guess, in the, maybe starting from the third class, I guess, from the RO, because there's like a lot of classes, but you can only play half of it.
What about XERO? Like, I know you spoke about it on it a little bit already, but what do you think about the feel overall?
For now, like obviously graphics, the BGM, those are very RO-esque. Obviously, this is the pioneer test. We still don't see a lot of the things that could be there. Like one of the most memorable things, at least for me, in classic RO was there were some dungeons that actually had, more complexity in terms of like before you even reach the boss, you had to complete certain. For example, like in Oglasheim, for those who still played after Transcendent, right? There's Oglasheim. There's the Face Worm Queen, but all these dungeons, it's not just about the boss mechanics, but also things leading up to the boss. You had to complete certain side quests. You had to work with your party to break different barriers. Those kind of things are still missing. Obviously, it is Pioneer Test. We are only seeing a small portion of the game. But like Wolf said, like we do still see like some essence of the classic RO, where the core mechanics, right? The calculation. RO is literally game made with math, and so far the math is the closest to classic as compared to all other games. Before this, it was actually ROO that was like the closest to canon. I would, but our RO3 right now, with the hard defense, with they do obviously did add some new things into it, like the penetration, the hunting technique, things like that. But can't really say much because we don't have all the features yet. But so far, it's kind of in the middle for me. Like there is essence of classic RO, but there's also things that you would expect from any generic MMO out there.
Yeah. And then up next we have Miss Faye. What do you think about like the overall feel, based on what you've seen so far? Obviously, like you said, you haven't played it yet, but from what you've seen so far, do you think that it feels more like Ragnarok 1, or does it feel like another MMO?
It feels like to me, I see the old Ragnarok, but I also see some like, I don't know, new. And new's not always bad. I mean, so I don't know. I gotta see more of it, to really give you that answer. But right now, I think it looks promising.
Yeah, I haven't tried Pioneer Test and I haven't tried the classic RO. So I think I speak for the most younger generations here of Ragnarok players, that my definition of Ragnarok is not not based on classic, obviously.
Mhm.
I think Ragnarok's strong suit is like the character building and the mechanics of boss fights. Yeah, and from watching your streams, I see those already. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So in terms of that, and looks like we're actually making good time here. So the last bullet point that I want to discuss here for episode 1, because we have about like 30 minutes left. We're actually making good time. It's like 30 minutes per bullet point that we're discussing here. So the community's initial hype versus the cautious skepticism or even cautious optimism of the game. So we all knew from the very beginning, the moment that the RO3 trailer dropped, everybody was in full nostalgia. It's like a lot of the thoughts of people said, are we actually gonna get an actual successor to RO1? Are we actually gonna get, the closest thing possible? And are we actually gonna get finally an MMORPG that's worthy of inheriting kind of like the RO1 legacy and carrying it forward, not just for a few months, but for years to come, right? And then we kind of saw, like, I know, like, this is like not even like my own like comments. It's like the comments that I see on my YouTube videos all the time or on stream even, is that it's like, oh, I thought we were getting RO1 as it was meant to be, or how come we're getting like RO02 or something like that? Like there's a lot of comments that people are making, and I just wanted to ask you guys what your opinion on that was. Do you think that like it's all like deserved, or do you think that objectively speaking, right, is it deserved, or do you think that the community is incredibly negative towards it because of Gravity's like Ragnarok game history, essentially? Like, do you think that people are trying to give it a fair shake, or versus like the initial hype that they had when everybody was excited? What do you think caused that, right? Because everybody was like, I guarantee you, everybody who saw that trailer was really, really excited. And then the memes came in when people saw the gameplay, people saw the UI, people got to test that out in the Pioneer test, for example, or watch people stream it. So what do you guys think? Again, community's initial hype versus the things that led to the cautious, like, skepticism or even optimism for some. What do you guys think about that? We'll start with you first.
Sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to let other people go first, but okay. So personally, I think that it's definitely got a lot of hype. However, the hype isn't because it's RO1. It's because the MMO space is just so starved right now. You can look at like financial reports. You can see that Final Fantasy 14 has lost like 40% of shares recently. Like they're not doing good. And the game that I cover, PSO2 NGS, is also not doing very good. I don't know about World of Warcraft. I don't know about BDO. However, like, there's just not a lot of choices of good, substantial MMOs right now that people are like, yeah, this is the best MMO. Everyone should play this. And so when we think about MMOs, us old geezers are like, oh yeah, RO, I remember that game. Oh, that was awesome. So when I think of an MMO, I'm like, yeah, RO. So when RO3 trailer dropped and all of the other games that I played sucked, I was like, hell yeah, let's go. RO1 revamped into RO3, it's going to be great. So that was the initial hype from me personally. It was just, there's no better MMOs, and this was going to be an MMO that I remember it being great. But then there's also a lot of, I've also made like 1 or 2 videos of RO, and then I've also gotten comments, but the main comments that I've gotten was, oh, it's going to be pay to win. Oh, it's banned in Europe. Oh, it's Gravity. They're greedy. They're gonna screw up the game somehow. And to some extent, I have the same sentiment, because for me it's NCSoft. I hate NCSoft because I played Blade and Soul for so many years, and they just threw me under the bus, and like the entire franchise is dead because NCSoft just wants to monetize, right? And from what I've heard, RO has kind of gone through the same rut where it's like, oh, gravity's just greedy, they only want money, da 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 da. And so yes, I am a little bit concerned on, yeah, okay, the game might be great. They might be able to solve the whole auto system, non-auto system. But the main thing that I'm worried about is, how pay to win on the spectrum are they going to go? Like, are people who are free to play even going to be able to enjoy the game at all? Maybe, sure, they add in a great auto system, but yeah, you need to auto for a month in order to catch up to someone who spends $10, who buys a battle pass or a monthly pass or whatever. That's the main thing that I'm concerned about. So I am cautiously optimistic. I will try out the game for sure, regardless of what happens, but I'm going to play it free to play. And I'm going to push the boundaries and see how far I can get free to play. And the moment that they start money gouging or trying to reach into my wallet, I'm going to be like, hey, I had my fun. It's been a good run. Thank you very much. That's kind of my train of thought and where I draw the line. But the reason why I didn't want to go first is because I feel like I put up a very strong statement there, and now everyone's going to try to play it a little bit more conservative. So I'm sorry, whoever goes next.
No. I think everybody should be putting out their
I'm
concerns
next.
as well. Because here's the thing: like a lot of the viewers, they'll know if you're faking it, and they will call you out on it. So just speak your mind. I think to preface this whole thing, I think everybody here wants RO3 to be a good game, right? I think it's something that we all just like unanimously want to be. We want it to be a good game because we want to play it for a very long time. We don't want it to be like a one and done, right? Game where you just like play it for a few months and then you just drop it because like, it's subpar. So let me preface it with that. That way, anybody who's watching right now, any devs, we're not running you off completely. We just want the game to be good because we actually want an actual successor and an actual game that we can play for a very prolonged amount of time versus, like a 1 to 2 month type of thing where we play it and then it sucks and then we dip out. King Ben, what about you?
Yeah. For me, I don't care about what people say about the RO3. Like, the most they say RO3 is the ROO2 because I don't play the ROO. Okay, I just play in the beginning of the RO release and I don't play many more times. So yeah, honestly, I don't care what people say about the RO3. Yeah, because what I try because what I'm focused to do in the RO3 is for the research. I like to do the research on the character, like a job, like what build to be a good one, what type skill, what the combo skill, like that. So I like that sensation, and not only the game. I enjoy the game, especially for the Ragnarok franchise, since we play it from 20 2002, I think.
Yeah.
From the all
Oh,
this all time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter about the game. I play all the Ragnarok games just based on the memories, and I want to research in the game about the build and the gameplay and something else. Yeah, that's for me, Bro Fatty.
Yeah. So basically, regardless of like what the initial hype was, and despite the skepticism of a good chunk of the player base, for you, it's more of like the RO experience. Getting to experience that, getting to relive like those, like the memories are closer, especially with the sprites and the music, closer to RO1, right? That's your main concern personally. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. Yeah. How about you, Wolf? So in terms of go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess the question is like, whether like the skepticism over all of the viewers and around the world, whether it's going to be just like ROO2, right, instead of like RO3. So yeah, I guess I'm not really hating on ROO by itself, as long and I think it's like a kind of good thing if they have like implemented some kind of things from the ROO in this game as well, because RO Classic is not really that kind of perfect game. It's like an old game. It has like a lot of cons, I think, compared to modern games currently, right? So RO by itself also kind of solves some kind of the problem coming from the RO Classic. So that's a thing. And whether this game is going to be just like ROO2 or not, I think it's fine if they really just want to make it like the RO2, as long it's just like how the Ragnarok Origin it was meant to be, because I get where it's all coming from, what kind of ideas that has been implemented by the developers and so on. But the execution, it was not really well until I come to like there's like a lot of things that fed up with the kind of fed up with the ROO in the implementation by itself, the execution by itself, not really just by on its design. So I'm really hyped up about the things that they mentioned about the seasonal systems, right, in the RO3. I think it's also coming from the ROO as well, from the Tower of Nightmare systems. I just hope that this time they really do their homework and implement a lot of better things than they implemented in ROO, because even though we already have like some kind of seasonal system in ROO, it doesn't really matter, because it's just like a better starts and just like same shit, different things, it's just like a better all things, just recycle things and not really like a new fresh kind of perspective of every season. That's the thing. So I'm not really I don't really mind if they really put and bring some kind of RO mechanics in this game, as long as they really just executed it properly. So that's my take, I think.
I agree. I actually agree. So to compound on that is essentially ROO inheriting certain things from ROO isn't necessarily a bad thing.
True.
As long as the progression on those things isn't gated by money alone. I think that was like probably the biggest issue that people have with the whole meme with RO2 being a thing.
Money is one thing by itself, but there's like a lot of fucked up things with RO Origin as well, I believe, because I just mentioned about the availability of the classes right now is like 17 or so, like 16 maybe, but only like half of it is just like usable, and people are just forced to actually play what's really in the meta, and the other half is like doesn't even matter right now. So that's some kind of like aspect that they really didn't execute well in ROO. So I hope they really learn their lesson and just bring up their game, I think.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of this stuff and how it's done correctly, how it's done in a good way, is already like out there. There's a lot of examples, like, and this is, I'm not sure for like the regular person, like if it's as obvious as to them as it is to me, for example, as an MMORPG creator, because that's basically all I do, right? As an MMORPG creator, my job is essentially to look at every single MMORPG and look at it from an objective light. What does it do well? How does it do well? Versus like, what did this thing do wrong? How did it do it wrong? And how did it get that bad? And to RO3's advantage, a lot of this stuff is already out there. There's a lot of stuff that's already been proven, has been tested and proven that this is effective. This is like something that people want. This is something that people would spend money on even. And it pleases both the player base, where the free to play, to the low spenders, to the whales, to the krakens, to the gaming company that needs to make that money to keep the servers running and keep the content pouring out, right? But I agree in terms of that. But our ROO did have some good things. Granted, a lot of those things were not executed correctly and were executed very poorly, but I think what people want when they're looking for a successor to RO1 is Ragnarok 1 plus the modernization and the quality of life stuff that you couldn't implement in RO1, because again, it was on such an old engine that it wasn't really, the technology for that engine wasn't really quite there to like like even like leading you to the next quest. Like the best that they could do in RO1 was make glowing arrows on the ground that was just like snaking through like the way to where your quest was. A lot of times it wasn't even accurate, or even like something as simple as like a quest log, right? Your quest journal or something. That was also executed very poorly in RO1 even, right? Because they implemented that later down the line when they wanted to kind of modernize the game, but it's just the engine's like just not capable or you know of something beyond like what they were able to produce, or maybe it just wasn't feasible anymore, you know, even like budget wise. So I think when people think of RO1 being having a successor in the form of RO3, they want to see RO1, but they also want to see the quality of life stuff that RO1 never had. And I do believe that like ROO did have some of that stuff, albeit it was executed incredibly poorly. But I think they have they've seen that, hopefully, because it was kind of like really obvious how badly it was messed up, that they learned from that and they implement it here to execute it correctly, as Wolf said in the RO3 version, right? So I agree with Wolf in that sentiment for sure.
Yeah, I like that you brought up, you know, modernization, because we have to do that. Like the developers have to do that. The target market is no longer the same. You know, people have. If you're talking about the original RO players, you know, now they're all 30+ year olds with more things to do. Younger players, the newer audience, who's never heard of RO1, they'll have to come in because of a different reason, right? Not because of nostalgia, but because of the game being good. And, you know, needing to cater to both these markets is, you will need that modernization. We can't keep living in the past, right? Like you said, you know, even RO Classic, tons of issues that couldn't be solved because of the engine. You know, things that they're trying to make better here in terms of quality of life. I don't think that making just a carbon copy of the classic RO is good, because then, you know, it means all the bad things come in. But, you know, taking learnings from what they did with ROO, taking learnings from other games who are doing decent, taking everything good from all the good games out there is it's going to be their biggest task to get in those new players, because more likely than not, us oldies will just play no matter what they throw to us, for a bit at least.
Yeah. And to what you're saying too, Zero, it's a good point as well, right? But I think that we shouldn't just take R1 and just like modernize it. We also, I think when we say like inherit the legacy of R1, I think we need to look at it more from a lens of like, okay, what made R1 good and what made it successful, and we need to bring that over here, because basically that's essentially what people are looking for, right? It's if I were to compare it to something else in a different space, let's say like comic book movies, like Marvel movies. How many times was it that somebody that people loved it because it stayed true to the original, right? Even though, yeah, sure, it's a new fresh coat of paint, new actors, like better CGI, but people loved it because it stayed true to what made it good, and then it added everything else modern on top of that made it better. It was more of a compliment than be like, hey, by the way, the metrics say these nowadays. I was like, yeah, but that's not what people are looking for. Let's say, for example, best example of that is probably like, let's say like Henry Cavill, The Witcher. People loved the book, loved the original, and so they wanted to see that. And when they saw that show was a hit, an absolute hit, monster of a hit. The moment that they tried to stray away from that, and then Henry Cavill didn't like that either, and he left as well.
He left.
What became of the show? Like, the show obviously failed because, again, you're making something to cater to an audience, and in this case, we're making something that's catering to the RO audience. RO was as it was meant to be. With the trailer even starting off with RO1 transitioning into the RO3 graphics, it obviously is being catered to the people that remember RO1 and have always wanted an RO1 successor, right? So that's who you're marketing it to. It's kind of the same way where, like, for example, again, and I know KEROPPI is gonna love me for this one because it's NCSoft. Throne of Liberty. Throne of Liberty was advertised as a GVG ZVZ game. right? And it was successful because of that. People loved it. That's the people that it was advertised to. But along the lines, they started removing like the GVG like centric parts of the game, the ZVZ centric parts of the game, and tried to cater to the PvEers. But you have to remember, you made this game and advertised this as this, and now you're shifting it to this. So now the main group of people that you spent all these marketing dollars for, that you got into your game, they now feel aggrieved, and now look at these really sharp decline of Thor and Liberty. It knew who it was in the beginning, and it stuck to it, and so it had a very faithful like player base. The moment that it started to have dementia and forgot like who it was, and it decided to be something that it wasn't, then the players that it was catered to, that loved it for who it was, left the game mainly. And now they're struggling to be like, hey, by the way, we're bringing you guys like your PvP content back. Here you go. Oh, we're gonna give you guys like something that we asked for like the past like 6 months, which is like Battlegrounds. But it's too late. The people already have already left, right? That core audience that you marketed so hard to get in the beginning, you took that for granted, and now they've left. And I feel like I don't want RO3 to get into that same trap where, hey, by the way, these are the people you marketed it to, right? Like, this is the core audience that you marketed it to. If you shift midway, now you're gonna get rid of that audience because they're gonna feel aggrieved. They're gonna leave your game, and then now you're gonna try to work on marketing it to another set of audiences, right? So you're starting from scratch to try to get like a new player base that you want to cater your game to now, because you're already lost that previous one. And it's a domino effect. Like, what's gonna happen when you want to shift it again, right? I think that's probably the pitfall that I just don't want RO3 to fall into, where they forget who they spent all these marketing dollars to advertise the game and to try to pull in, which is basically very obviously the nostalgia is there. So the main audience for this one is indeed the people who want to play and want to have an actual RO1 successor.
Yeah, we also need to remember like what made RO1 such a hit back then, right? First, it was the community aspect of it. There's like one of the first few games. I mean, it was one of the first few MMOs out there, but it was they had a very robust guild system comparatively back then, compared to anything else. And truth be told, like probably half the players played just because of being able to RNT. Sure, it wasn't technically legal, but a majority of the player base, the Indonesians, the Filipinos, the Malaysians, then Brazilians, we play because we can get a card and sell it and buy 2 more weeks of gameplay so that we can continue on. And that was a big main reason of why that game is such a hit in these major regions, right? Even in Thailand as well. Like, these are the major markets for classic RO, and those are a couple of the factors: the community, the marketplace, and the competitiveness as well in terms of your WOEs, your GVGs, battlegrounds, whatnot. Regardless of what sort of system comes out, I feel like as long as they get these core pillars of the game down, people are still gonna come in and stay.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Chen? I know you it was about to be you, and then you turned your cam on. Now you're all the way up there. How about you? What about you, Chen? Let me just reiterate it.
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
We were discussing. No, go.
No, I think what everyone was talking about, like, I think like it was more like an elaboration of like what I was saying about ROO. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I have too much to add to that for now.
As a veteran ROO player, really?
No, because
no hold back.
Like no, in ROO, I don't know. It just where would you say it started to change? It was pretty alright at first, right?
ROO, yeah. So here's I think ROO's underlying systems were pretty good. Um, where it got really bad was around like the 6 month-ish like mark, where
Exactly. Yeah.
the community kind of like opinion of the game was that like so the events were bi-weekly, right? The events were like bi-weekly.
Right. Yeah.
So what happened there was like a lot of the people were like, wait, hold on, it's like we're not actually getting like events anymore, we're just getting like pay to win events for the new systems that they're putting in place, that the only way you could progress it is by paying like minimum 10k
Yeah,
USD.
you spend more.
Yeah, that's exactly
Right,
that
right.
was it. And here's the thing, you remember the little galaxy like thing, the event that they had with the really like nice sprites in RO like 6 months in? They had some really well designed events, and the
Right.
artwork was amazing, the concept was amazing, but the only way that you could progress through it is if you spent like $400 or something. Like, oh my god, bro, can I enjoy the event please? Like so Rue they had extreme like, and when I say like when I look at these events, like, it reminds me of Honkai Star Rail quality events, right? Like artwork, stuff like that, the concept, the mechanics of it,
Exactly.
besides the pay to win, was amazing. It was amazing. It was incredibly well made, and I felt bad for the artist, because like you made this like this amazing event, these amazing like artwork, right? And then we like the majority of the players didn't even get to enjoy it, because like the barrier of entry was you know, was your monthly rent, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, Rue did a lot of things well, or made a lot of things that were really good, and then it was executed like really poorly. So yeah, Mrs. Faye, what do you think? Like, what's based on like what we've discussed so far, and also the for you, the community's initial hype versus the slow kind of like how it evolved from the community hype, right? The trailer hype versus like now what you're seeing and what you're hearing with the cautious skepticism. I think she might be AFK. King WAWA?
Hello? Hello?
Oh, there you go. Yep.
There you go. Okay, sorry. Well, I've always been like not a big. I'm not very rich, guys. So, when I have to dish out a ton of money, I don't really like doing that for a game. Like I understand, making money for a game. People work really hard for it. I think a really good way to make money through this, not like pay to win per se, but like have like costumes to sell. Like League of Legends does that. Like you can buy costumes, or like the headgears. You can get different headgears. They can have up for sale. To make some money. I feel like you should grind for like the weapons, your armor. Make them. I don't think you should be able to just buy those. There's certain things that I feel like you put money in versus not. And like the money situation thing, like I get really like, if they're asking to pay, money, I step away, because I live on a budget.
Yeah,
I
and
got
it,
kids
you know
to
for
feed,
yeah for a lot of people, yeah, like for the regular person, right? Like usually you can and you want to spend money on it, but you want to spend money on it that's like hobby money, right? Like not
Yeah.
everybody is gonna be like a kraken, not everybody's gonna be a whale, not even everybody's gonna be like
Yeah.
a dolphin even. But
And if you want a lot of people to play on something, make it if you're gonna do it affordably.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
crazy. Like you were saying, you spent like $400 for an event. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my god, that's so much
Not
money.
me. But yeah, I
Oh my
have
god.
I have known people who would drop minimum, like, and there's a lot of people like that in the Dynasty community, for
People have
example.
that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people who don't too, and you need to
Yeah.
they need to really look at that too, and
Again, it all
like
comes.
balance it.
Yeah. So again, it all comes down basically to make sure that even if the game has, because the game, regardless if it's in the system or not, every game, people can disagree with me on this if they're not, but there's always going to be some way, shape or form of like pay to win in a game, right?
Yeah.
Like for example,
Totally get it with like costumes and like headgears and even like costumes for your weapon. Like I get that. there's a lot into that. Like, you can make pretty good money if a lot of people are playing it. You know what I mean? Buying all different ones, especially if you have a big catalog of all the different ones that people can choose. I mean, people like to stick out. People like, to show themselves in a way, different from, the next person. I noticed that with the old RO too. People used to do that with headgears and like all sorts of things. People really like enjoying that.
Yeah.
And if they made like custom ones that caught like, there's a specialties shop and
Yeah.
you can get like costumes and stuff. I think that would probably be a hit.
Yeah.
Where like old RO didn't have that. Like the beginning of it really, you grinded everything for your stuff.
Yeah.
Like I could understand doing it that way, but like all your like gear and stuff, I think that should be grinded out.
Yeah. So
And that would
definitely
make
a
sense.
healthy, definitely a healthy medium. So we're running low on time here. Again, because I didn't want to keep it like too long. Besides like the minute and a half mark. So I'm gonna have King WAWA. What do you think so far? And maybe we'll have ERKULEZ here once he hops in, to say a final point.
People has been memeing on like RO3 as like RO02, and I get it because they advertised it as RO Classic, but RO2 for me was not bad. I just hope that RO3 fixes the three biggest problem of ROO. Like first, pay to progress is okay, but there shouldn't be a paywall like the statue skills that only spenders get, and the balancing of jobs. There shouldn't be one meta, such as like the paladin meta that went on for like 4 months.
The sacrifice
Which is-
sucker. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it sucked so bad. That actually made me think about quitting the game early on.
They would 3-tap you
And,
and you couldn't do damage to them.
And the third one is like the wait. Yeah. The pay to win, the meta, and lastly is the events that everyone should enjoy, not just the pay to win players. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
I just hope they fix all those three things.
Yeah. So right now, again, we'll have like final points right after, but I wanted to bring in ERKULEZ here. He's been reacting to a lot of like RO3 content already. He's an old RO head as well, OG RO fan. And he just wanted to say something in, hop in here, say something about like his thoughts, and then we'll close it out.
What's up, everybody? So real quick, I was thinking about dropping like a P2V video, P2W video, and kind of just going over some of the things that could be pay to win that wouldn't be game breaking. And as I was watching you guys talk about some of the stuff, one of the things that really came to mind was like, I've always complained about this in like other games, like one of the games that I'm known for now. And as someone who's considered a pay to win player, right now I'm at the point where like it's almost like every 2 weeks it seems like I have to drop like $500-600. I think that a way that a game could make a lot of money within the pay to win community and not break the game is add things that consume a lot of time, because it's essentially what we're running away from as players that are paying to win. My complaints, in the game, like for example, BDO that I've given a lot of money to, is like there's these 7-hour quest lines, or this thing takes this many hours, and I'm like, dude, I do not want to do that for 7 hours. Like, let me give you $50 and this is done. Auto completion of something like that, or let me give you $100 and this is done. Because it takes away from the content that I can make. It takes away from my time that I'm having fun doing this thing in the game. So like you guys were talking about events and stuff like that free-to-play players couldn't participate in, because there was a pay-to-win demand in them. If you swap those roles, they would work in opposite ways. For example, if you added like a really good item, or like let's say old card album rewards to a quest line, like you're gonna get 8 old card albums if you do this long chain quest and you gather all these materials and you bring it back, and it takes them like 4 or 5 days. You know what I'm saying? And then there was a way where we could just buy that auto completion for that quest. I would buy it right away, and it would still create a little bit of a gap, because you're spending all this time doing these things that you could have been grinding, and I could just pay for it and then do the grinding. But the reality is that most pay to win players are not going to be grinding aggressively while you're doing all of these things for these quests. Like, you know, in BDO, like they have the Magnus quest and the Balanos quest line and all these quest lines that you need to unlock different power-ups for your character. If they allowed us to pay to win that, it would be balanced, because free players would just have to invest time and they would be equal to pay to win players. And then the other thing is cosmetics. Like, make it so that we can buy cosmetics off the shop and we can sell those costumes for silver in game, so the players have access to it as well. But it's not something that's like unique. It's mainly cosmetic, like armoring the Peko Peko. When I was reviewing to Fatty's Rune Knight video and I saw the mounts, as soon as I saw the Peko, I didn't like that it was not matching in color to the Rune Knight's armor. It was more like a rose gold tone on the Rune Knight armor, and I was instantly like, I would pay to have gold Peko armor immediately. 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks. You know, I was like, in my own mind, as a pay to win player, you're like, how much am I willing to pay for this very simple thing? And I look at it and I'm like, I'd pay 40 bucks instantly. Wouldn't even think about it to have gold Peko armor, you know, just so it would look cool. And then a couple people would have it. And then guess what happens? They release pink Sakura Peko armor. And I'm like, I need that. And then I buy it, you know, and then you have 10 of them, but you can only use one. So you end up selling the others to the community. And I think that would be like one of the good takes on pay to win, like cosmetics purely, where it's not making you any stronger. It's just making you look different and eventually not even cooler, because there'll be so much in the game that like original Row, we all play Row and everyone looks different, you know. There's only, it's so crazy because it's a game that only offers customization to the head of the character, and everyone's character looks so different with just that and dies, you know.
Yeah.
So
I
those
think-
are some takes.
Yeah. So I think that like pay to win is going to exist no matter what you do. If you completely remove pay to win BDO, guess what? People are just going to hire people to grind for them, right? In some way, shape, or form, pay to win is always going to exist. And it's my mind that like when I like go through these like suggestions, I always like keep the company in mind too, right? Like they have to make money too. So if that's going to exist anyway, then it's better for that money to go into the company's pocket, to Gravity's pocket, for example, because again, they're the ones making these games, they're the ones making the content, they need to have revenue, they gotta eat too, right? But my only concern is, and again, BDO does this really well, right? Like I technically, like Erk, you know, like you've spent how much of, actually you don't have to say it.
Probably I don't know, honestly. It's been a lot. Like it's
Okay.
definitely like over 7-8 grand for sure.
Yeah. So let's say that like you spend like a certain amount of money in the game to get to like a certain gear score. I'm completely okay with that, because again, like the way that the vertical progression works in BDO is that sure, you might be soft cap. Let's say like soft cap is 300 is like let's say like 650 gear score, right? Versus somebody who's like, oh no, let's say like 720 gear score, 730 gear score, versus somebody who whales, who spends money and is like around 780 gear score. The 730 gear score guy can still beat the 780 gear score guy if he's just that much better of a player. So even though somebody's like grinding for it and is only at soft cap, because he's more skilled than the other guy, he can beat the other guy, right? So it's more of a pay to progress. It's not really a pay to win, because like if you're not as good as the other guy, you're still losing. So yeah, so that's why like me personally, I'm okay with the pay to progress like stuff. Sure, it'll progress you further, but if I can grind that out, because there's no gates, there's no time gates, there's no stamina gate, there's no combat time gate, there's no paywall that's stopping me from getting to where you are by playing the game as intended, then that's completely okay. That's because here's the thing, like a lot of free-to-play players, including myself, are very tolerant to pay to win. It just becomes a problem once like there's really nothing we can do, and like this one guy is soloing my entire guild because he spent like 100 grand more than like my other guy over here, right? That's in my guild. Then it becomes a problem, right? Because there's too much of an imbalance now, where it's like you can try to come up with like the most creative tactics, the most creative strategies, but none of it's gonna work. It looks flashy, it looks nice, like, oh yeah, you tried, right? But when somebody is able to spend enough and gap you so hard that there's nothing you can do, then it takes
Yeah.
the entire fun of the game. Like no, like what am I even fighting for at this point, right? It's like how, like now instead of like trying to kill this guy, I'm just thinking of like 73 other ways to tickle this guy essentially, but he's not gonna die. Right? So I think that's like the main thing that BDO probably got correctly is that, yeah, sure, somebody can spend that amount of money and progress, but I can grind and get close to that. I don't even have to match that exactly, but if I'm the better player, I can eliminate him, right? So it's like that happy medium.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that real quick?
Yeah.
So, personal experience, right? As a really heavy pay to win player in the BDO community, that I'm basically known as a meme for that, right? This is a really huge difference in number if you don't understand that game. But I'm at 784 gear score. I've only actively been streaming and like playing full time, like halftime, like 4 hours a day for like 2 months. Really, I haven't been playing. There's people that have been playing for years and are way lower gear score than me. So I went to Battle Arena and I'm trying to learn how to play my class and all of that. A striker with 720 gear score. I'm at 784. Not only beat the socks off of me, but at one point, as I kept fighting him, he just ran up to me, threw me on the ground, and took me from 100% to dead, like instantly. There's nothing I could do about it. I was absolutely helpless, despite being way more powerful than him. And the reason I bring that up is because, like Fatty was saying, there's a difference between that pay to win and the pay to win that was being talked about in chat as this was being discussed, which is the pay to win that I experienced. The reason I got onto BDO is because I was playing a little app from another nostalgia game called Moo Online, and I was playing Moo Dragon Havoc on my phone because I didn't have a ton of time to game. Needless to say, I probably dropped like $5,000 in 3 months on this game, on this mobile app. And the level of pay to win that I was on there, I pretty much went to like GVG versus entire other, like the second strongest guild on the server, and like you guys said, I killed everybody in that guild by myself. Like my guild was strong or whatever, but I was such a unit by myself because of pay to win that I can take on the entire second strongest guild on the server by myself. That is not anywhere near remotely possible with the pay to win in BDO, because like Fatty said, players that are way weaker than me know how to play better than me, and they destroy me. And this is not the case for like World of Warcraft, where I demolish everybody in PvP, and I was really good at PvP in Row because it was a different thing. Like I'm older now and I pay to win my way there on BDO, and now I have to kind of go backwards and learn to actually play the class.
Yeah.
But I think as long as they pay to win it in a way that doesn't, like you guys were saying in chat, do it in the way that it has been done before, where one super pay to win person can just mop entire 5 packs of people, I think that it's going to be in a good place, because that part is important to understand, that there is, like, call it pay to win collateral damage minimization. Like, how much damage can one pay to win person really do to how many people? That part is important. Where in like BDO, like we said, you know, you would have to be really, really, really skilled and have max gear to be able to take on, you know, multiple people that know how to play by yourself.
Yeah. All right. I think anybody have any closing statements to say? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap it up. We're currently in the hour, a little over hour and half mark that we initially did. But again, that's why like we have like we're gonna have like multiple episodes. And again, everybody again is more than welcome. Actually encouraged, because I want to like the following episodes, the topics that we're going to discuss are kind of like a branch off of like what this is, and I wanted to make more content for the RO3 community. Again, there's not a lot out there that we can do right now. You can make dungeon videos, you can make class videos, you can make your review that after you play the game for a little bit. You can make the MVP videos or like the Remnant Echo videos, and that's about it right now. That all we can make for the duration of this one. So I wanted to make something for the community where you know, and I want to integrate people in the community as well to even like hop in and voice out their opinions. You know, in the middle of the podcast as well. We can pick somebody out of the audience, you know, and I mean, you never know. Maybe we could, at some point in time, maybe we could, try to bring a dev in here. or somebody who can kind of like speak to these issues, and kind of give something encouraging to the player base in general. But yeah, that's what I want to that's what I want to provide for the RO3 community, and something that we get this a piece of content that we can all partake, and also in a way introduce like all the content creators for RO3 right now, and hopefully everybody kind of grows and gets encouraged more to participate in content like this. So yeah, anybody have any closing statements? Again, after this, make sure you send me your Twitch, your Facebook, your YouTube, everything, just so we can post that up. Okay?
Just want to say thank you guys for inviting
Can Milomi say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Milomi, yeah.
Okay. Can I say something? I would like to say thank you
Yeah.
to you, Lipofetti Gigi, for holding this podcast together. What you guys doing is like bringing so many insights,
Mhm.
and I will try my best to write it down and tell the dev team about all the insight that you guys already told. Yeah. So
Oh.
thank you. Also, Miss Faye, Chin, ERKULEZ, KEROPPI, KINGBENYT, KingWAWA, Wolf, and Zero. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for the viewers also.
Yeah. Thank you for staying with us, Miss Milomi, and also thank you for always taking care of us as well. I know there's like a lot of work that you do in the background for us. Just wanted to let you know that we don't look past that. And yeah, thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Faye.
I just want to say
Yeah.
thank you guys, and this was really fun. This is the first
Yeah.
time I ever like jumped out of my community and met new faces. So this is really fun and interesting. This is great.
Yeah.
I want to do this again with you guys sometime. This is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then yeah, I'll announce the next episode as well. I have prepared like many topics, and I'll share it with everybody in advance, so everybody can recollect their thoughts and kind of like form a bit of like an opinion in advance that they can bring into, especially if you have like a little bit more time to simmer. But yeah, anybody else? Zero, Chin, KEROPPI, KingBENYT, Wolf?
Yeah, I just want to preface to everyone who's watching the video post edit, as well as the live stream, I suppose, is we haven't had, at least I haven't had that much time to play the game. This is literally, I played 2 hours of RO3. So I just want to preface to everyone, this is really just a first impression, and we're just, ad-libbing everything. We're just kind of going on the fly, right? I did not know I would be on this podcast till until I was dragged on. But nevertheless, opinions can change. This is something that my chat doesn't understand sometimes, or memes me, is I would say something and then like a month later I would change my opinion. We're all human, guys. We'll change opinions. Gravity, please don't blacklist me, even though I just talk garbage about you guys, but don't blacklist me yet. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I encourage people to speak their mind here and not be, just be open with it, because again, the community will 100% know if you're bullshitting them.
Well, Gravity Best Company, whitelist me. Sponsor me, 1-year contract,
Yeah,
maybe 2-year contract. Thank you very much, Gravity Best Company.
Dynasty's nice guy,
Zero,
everybody.
Zero. Hook me up.
Yo.
Hook me up, hook me up.
Hook me up. Wooden Cup Part 2.
I want to go for yeah, Zero, KingBENYT, Wolf, WAWA.
Yeah, I think thanks for the podcast. Thanks for this podcast. I think yeah,
thank you
we
for
can just try the game, guys, who see this video.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think the game has a good backbone there. If they continue listening to feedback, not from everyone, of course, because this is something I like to say, is that 99% people are stupid, and if you listen to everyone, it's just gonna be bad. But as long as they continue taking in good feedback and working on it in a timely manner, I think there's there's a good future for this game, and I personally am hoping for that to happen.
Yeah. Wolf, King Wawa.
Yeah, thanks, Fatty, for including me in this podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I would love to try the game and share my opinions as well.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Bellamy, we can get some friend codes for the home. You know what I mean? It's like,
Get going, guys. I'm gonna send you my info. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Wolf.
Yeah, I also just want to say thank you for having me here, and thank you for everyone for attending. It's been fun actually. Like you should just like do this again later, and I
Yeah.
hope that I can be invited as well again.
Oh yeah, everybody is
So,
100%
yeah.
invited.
Everybody is 100% invited.
Nice. Because you know, like I don't really have anyone to actually like talk and discuss about like Ragnarok in particular, you know.
Yeah.
Between my cycles. So yeah, it is nice to actually like talk in here. So yeah, again, thank you everyone.
All right, everybody, that wraps it up for our first episode. I think that was pretty successful. You know, we had I feel like everybody just had like different insights and different like perspectives that it was actually very refreshing to see. My worst fear for this podcast was that we were all just gonna be an echo chamber and we're just all gonna agree with each other. So the fact that like you had the people that were agreeing on like the auto side, you had the people that were like disagreeing on the auto side, and you know, we were able to come in here together and kind of like discuss that in a podcast scenario, which is going to be available for everybody to watch as soon as it's out. You know, it's refreshing, and I think it's pretty healthy. It's pretty good content for the RO3 community, especially with, you know, the limited amount that we can have out there right now. And again, thank you everybody for coming, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next episode. Yeah.
Thanks for having
All
us.
right,
Yes,
all right.
thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you, little
thank you, everyone.
fatty.
All right, everybody. GG's. Thank you.
Ben's
Thank
out.
you. Yep.
Thank you, guys.